Hello, morning. Yesterday, since we had some communication on the crop production plan on Appendix 1, which is inside the NPOP standard, and I hope you were able to ingrain some knowledge from whatever I was able to communicate to you, as the intentions are only in one way, is that we all grow together with quality and not in quantity, because there is no point growing in quantity without quality of your knowledge in the brains, because we want India to be proud of quality auditors as well as quality people, where we are in such a way that we know in depth of what we are actually doing inside the subject knowledge, be it not only agriculture, I say for all subjects. Now, here, coming back to what we were saying, is that today I'll be taking on the Appendix 5. As I told you, in the Appendix 1 of the NPOP standard, it speaks about the crop production plan. In the Appendix 5, what happens is that it also speaks in another way on the first page, which is also very important, on the processing and handling procedures. Now, this could be also said in another language, if most of you already know about it. Is called as the SOP, or the standard operating procedure. What is the standard operating procedure? A very good question. Now, the standard operating procedure is whatever activities that take place inside that facility, starting from the raw material entry to the concerned exit of the material. What are the procedures or the detailed activities that take place there? How is the separation being done? What do you do to monitor the materials that have come in? How do you monitor the materials that exit out? How do you monitor the processing being done? How is the cleaning being done? How is the pest being done? So standard operating procedure is a mandatory effect inside the process for every single processing or handling unit. Now, as we go on, to be an effective, or if you need to be organically certified, there are some compliance points that needs to be met by you being an operator or an FBO. And these are a few points which I'll be explaining to you, so please listen carefully. And if you find this videos valuable, please share, because intentions are to reach the maximum number of people at the same time. Not only we who get the knowledge, but also to share the knowledge to others, so that they also gain through the process. Now, the first point is the description, practices, and procedures. Now, in this description of practices and procedures, as I told you, is the same thing as we just gave a small definition. I gave a small definition on the standard operating procedure, which is the whole activities or the procedures stepwise being explained on each wise. Supposing it's processing, what you do, how is it supposed to be done? If it is going to be bleed run between two different standards, how do you get that done? Is there a particular cleaning agent that has been done? How do you do the cleaning or the changeover cleaning? All this has to be explained. Now, the next one is the list of substances being used inside the facility. Now, the list of the inputs or the substances or the ingredients could be the organic materials that you are bringing as raw material and intending it to be going as an organic finished big good product. Now, here there might be different kind of ways that you process the material. Some of them requires additives, some of them requires flavoring aids, some of them requires processing aids. So how do you go upon this? There are lists of allowed and not allowed. Please check that inside the NPOP standard. It is there inside the annex. Now, if you go beyond something that you is not there in the list, no, nothing to be afraid. Make sure that you intimate your certification body that is certifying you, and you have some documents of this thing where it is being used in other certification standards. But it does not mean that it can be used, because every respect has to be given to its independent organic standards. If it is NPOP, separate; NOP, separate; EU, separate. So make sure that you give a intimation of expression of interest to the certification body. The certification body will then check whether it's okay, and if it is okay, they will give you a approval. Now, here, if the materials are coming as ingredients, make sure that the ingredients are coming as we are specifically speaking on the NPOP standard, that they come of ingredients from the crop production point or from a trader from an NPOP certified unit, and make sure that there is a transaction certificate that comes. The next point, description of the monitoring practices. As I said, if you have a standard operating procedure or you have a policies on the steps that are being affected inside your food business operator, it is very important to make sure that how is this being assessed for the effectiveness and productivity, so that you know it goes with the correct flow and there is no loss or in the business. So it has to be monitored. Now the only intentions here is to make sure that if there are any flaws inside the system, we make sure that we do the corrective action in the right time, so that it is better that we go in track of whatever the organic integrity compliance required. Now it is better to be preventive and make sure that everything goes in the proper order. If you have any doubts, make sure certification bodies are there to be questioned upon, and they will tell you what is being there inside the organic standard, which is not supposed to be an advisory, or you could make sure that you have a particular consultant that is able to mentor you to make sure that you are doing the right thing. The next one, description of the record keeping. Now the description of the record keeping could be all the concerned records which are important in every respective standard that you say. Is that supposing you have a stock register in and out and the traceability lot number, if you have a pest management, what are the activities being done daily, what are the concerned chemicals, or what if there is any kind of biochemicals or anything applied outside or inside, if there are cleaning, what is the cleaning activity being done, is any cleaning agent being used, a container check-in the list, or if the applications are being done for the concerned transport of the organic material, is a phytosanitary certificate taken, is it mandatory? Any doubts, ask the certification body. Okay, next, the point where we come for description of the management practices during the separation. Now here separation is very important in terms of each and every respective standard, not only NPOP standard. Now when it comes into the raw material, is it demarcated and segregated properly with proper labeling and lot number? It has to be done, because to prevent commingling, that's the only intentions. Now we don't want an NOP certified material to be mixed with an NPOP certified material and a finished good material. Can it go? No, it cannot go, because every single standard says that starting from the production point to the exit material of finished good, and when before it reaches the consumer, it should come from the same traceability of the respective standard. So please understand, it does not work out. And if you do it, understand, always one day the cat will come out of the bag. So when it comes, you will not be able to do any certification in your future life, because you will be black marked, you will be blacklisted. So it is better to be inside or adhere towards the organic standards fully. Thank you. Next point, pollution sources. Now pollution sources, there are many kind of pollution sources, and inside these pollution sources, you could say how is your waste material going from your concerned unit, when your materials come inside the concerned, if you have parallel production, the conventional material and the organic containers, how are they washed, where is this water going to, will that make any kind of effect to the integrity of the organic products inside your own unit? So you need to check out all this kind of things. Supposing you're cleaning the concerned machineries, if there is any cleaning liquid, or maybe this liquid could affect the concerned biodiversity or the ecological profile of the soil, make sure that you make your own corrective way where it does not damage the environment, please, because you should understand this environment is very delicate, and the environment should not be killed with this pollution, because if you do that, our generations of people who are coming in the future will not be able to sustain the damages created by us of our greediness. Don't do that. Make sure that you have a pollution control, you have a proper consultant, or you have a proper people inside your own unit where they are able to track down where are the HACCP requirements or the critical control damages that could happen, and you already make a proper creative way towards not damaging the situation, but recycling, doing things which are more natural. It could make a good effect. Thanks. You know more better than me. Let's move on to the next point. The next point, it says on the processing and handling products should be done separately. Now here, I told you the same thing, is that if there are conventional and organic material, what happens here is that they should be processed in different time. I told you there is no mixing that is supposed to be happening between respective standards, or even between conventional and organic, or even any other concept, maybe GMO free, whatever it might be. They should take place in a particular specific time. If not, the best thing is to have separate machines. Thanks. The next point, all the products should be adequately identified through the whole process. Now when we see this, I put a concerned posting which was yesterday, is what is lot number. Please go through that, because a lot number or a batch number is very important through the process, where you are able to identify the material starting from when it came and when it exited. So through the process, why it is being done, it's because it needs to be tracked when a certain issue happens. If not, all the material that was sent from this unit could not be segmented towards this particular root cause analysis. We call it RCA. Now you need to make sure that you have a lot number. If you have a change of lot number, that you say, some of these units say, I have got my own way of doing the lot number. Okay, make sure that that goes into the SOP, and there is a policy towards which it is being identified through the process of your record keeping as well as through your policy, so that the assessors or any person that comes to check your unit, or even your quality officer, is being able to identify the materials from the raw material till the finished good material. Now make sure that is being done. It's very important. Traceability has no compromise in any standard. I tell you, no standard. And now even recently, the most stringent laws that have been found inside the European Union, which is the 2018-848, it is that they have a very clear indication on the traceability and lot number. So please, no commingling. Next point, certification shall regulate the means and measures to be allowed. Now here, a certification body, as I told you, if you do have any concern, doubts on certain materials that can be used, and you find it not allowed, and the certain things that you see there, and there may be another material has been given by another supplier, you need to make sure that you inform the certification body. The certification body has the concerns to make sure that the competent authority who has authorized them are taking the right decisions on what materials you are taking, to make sure that the full compliance is being met by you, the FBO. So please don't compromise on certain decisions which you feel it's not right. If you feel something is wrong there, and you want to make sure and assure that your decisions could be right and it does not affect a particular lot, inform the certification body. Not after buying 50 lakhs of material and then you take a wrong decision and you do it, and the end they come to find out that during an inspection, because there are announced and unannounced inspections, they can check every single thing in and out. They have the techniques. Auditors do have the techniques. Please don't think that they are fools inside the process. We are experienced people. We know how to do this, and the only point here is to make sure the compliance is being met, not to make you a culprit of what you have done. See, doing a fraudulent act is a crime. Our intentions is to make sure that the consumers receive safe food. That's my only intention. Now, the certification body should regulate it and should take the necessary advices, should take the necessary concerns towards telling you that this, what you are doing, is against the guidelines. This can be done with the guidelines. Okay. The next one, recommended for decontamination, cleaning, disinfection of all the facilities and handle. Now, all these kind of things, that if you have doubts, like for recommendation, you have a kind of testing that was done and you find that it's contaminated, what do you do immediately? You should have it in the SOP. There should be a quarantine area where it is being kept, and during this quarantine process the certification body has to be informed, and you should have policies for this cleaning, what are the concerned things. So all this are being controlled by the certification body. Please don't take a wrong decision. By that time, you should not complain towards the competent authorities or to the certification body, why should I do organic? Now see, you either follow the guidelines, do the organic certification with integrity. If not, don't do it. You have the conventional to do that. Think about that. So these are the few points that I needed to explain to you. These are on the processing and handling procedures, and I explained to you what is the SOP, what are the requirements that record keeping has to be maintained. Make sure that the ingredients are of the respective standards. Make sure that there is a pollution control, that you don't kill the environment. The next is that make sure that there are proper segregation between the conventional, organic, or the different standards, and make sure that, you know, if you have any doubts, make sure that you inform the certification body. Have a nice day. If you have any doubts, please message me privately on LinkedIn. I could help you out. And please make sure that if this is good, the video, and you find it very valuable, please share it. Thank you. God bless.